Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 3, or some basic edition of 1+2, the closest we're gonna get. Allow me to introduce our Brood War Terran player with the classic SCVs. In the red, you might know him from his SC2 career as well. It's Forgg. Up against the current SC2 Pro with the current SC2 probes. In the blue, it's Creator. We're loading in a new fighting spirit, and we're playing StarCraft Evolution Complete, a combination of the top two StarCraft games out there, StarCraft 1 and 2, entirely playable across the board. So if you're a fan of either of those games, and I certainly hope you are, it'd be awesome if you could give at least one like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we... Quickly, we gotta explain it. 1,313 likes on this video, on this cast. And we'll cast another one. And maybe of StarCraft Evo. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get a lot of bit better, because this is one of the most interesting things I've seen. It's quickly, in just a few weeks, become the most popular, essentially non-tower defense game mode on Korea. And, you know, not surprising. But so popular that both the GSL and the ASL are combining. The top two leagues, the Global StarCraft League and the Africa TV Star League, for StarCraft 2 and 1 respectively, are going to be having a competitive show match with pros from both games on it, as it has absolutely taken off. And I think there's an obvious reason why. StarCraft 1, well, we have a lot more pixels on our monitors now. StarCraft 2, well, it just doesn't have the siege tank siege up sound. So, really, I think these are the main factors here, you know, and everything else. But it isn't exactly the balance of StarCraft Brood War. Since we are on the StarCraft 2 engine, there are some admissions, like starting with 12 workers instead of 4. I believe tanks start with siege mode. Other things like that have been tweaked here and there in order to make things a little bit closer, but still stay as true to the StarCraft 1 races especially as possible. StarCraft 2 races are just the same. Alright, this is the Protoss you know, and, well, if you're a big fan of the StarCraft 1 Terran, you probably hate. But, Creator, starting with an Adept, scouting up with the Shade Siege Tank, already completed, and yeah, does have Siege Mode available immediately. We got Spider Mines on the way behind. Creator with a very standard SC2 opener, as he's going 2 bases into Blink, getting a shield battery on the way. I honestly don't know, from as a bit more experienced than StarCraft 2 player myself, I know StarCraft 1 siege tanks hit a lot harder, and are a bit cheaper, but also harder to use in general. So, as the time between attacks is significantly longer. So we'll see. As a 1 base, is it all in? Doesn't look like it. As Forgg comes down the ramp and is going to slap down a command center. Creator with just a few stalkers on the way across. And a vulture is on the way to follow it up. The machine shop has researched spider mines, a second factory on the way. The oh-so-standard Brood War mech will be the choice out of Forgg. Creator, Blink, and a robo on the way, but the robo in a bit of a precarious position where the siege tanks definitely could threaten. So Stalker's poking forward, but struggling to take out the Marines. No stim, no combat shield. Well, combat shield doesn't exist, but Spider Mines drop down. I'm not sure if they have exactly the same. I don't know if probes can trigger them. I know in the Brood War, hovering units didn't trigger the underground mines, but we'll see if he ever gets an opportunity to move forward. The pylon being targeted. Those siege tanks just blasting the point home. That beautiful siege tank sound. And without the shield battery, he actually depowered the robo. And more spider mines to zone things out. There's no detection. He could just draw out the mines. Once they're gone, they're gone. Crazy concept, but armory's on the way. Forgg finishing up his command center. And those siege tanks. Creator clearly not ready for the magnitude of firepower those Brood War tanks bring to the table. The Stalker's getting obliterated so quickly, has to blink away after a single shot, and the spider minefield is growing. Creator has managed to slip some of the Stalkers out behind, though. And probes, I think he was trying to drag the spider mines out, but there's a chance Creator didn't actually play Brood War, which would make him somewhat unique among SC2 pros from Korea, but It looked like he was trying to drag the spider mines out with the probes, but that's just not how things work. Well, this semi-contained. The stalkers are cutting off the rest. The probes are pulled, and indeed, oh, the spider mines obliterate. Oh my god! Okay, I need to. We're gonna back it up. I need to know exactly what happened there. Okay, we're gonna slow it down. It does look like the spider mines will trigger on those probes. And everything and everyone else. It's an absolute bloodbath across the board. Creator survives it, but he's down 42 to 24 workers. He does have access to Chrono Boost. There's still a couple spider mines out here. I'm not sure if they have an indicator on the ground, or if you can blink out of them. I'm not sure how that mechanic works at all, but there's only one siege tank, so the stalkers will be able to move in. SCVs are pulled. They do have 60 HP, so very beefy in this scenario, and enough repair. And what a save on the siege tank. And that means Creator. Yeah, that siege tank is, well, those SCVs surprisingly hard to take down. Spider mine. Oh my god. Terrible, terrible damage. Those spider mines obliterating absolutely everything. As we saw, again, on both sides. Forgg putting together more depots. Those depots, they never figured out how to lower them into the ground. Does he have a comm set? No, not yet. Just now getting an engineering bay. So no mules, and you need that communication satellite in order to activate the scan. Creator gonna try to bounce back economically, chrono boosting out probes. Still relying on the stalkers, but learning the value of bringing an observer with his stalkers early on. That Spider-Man only has 20 HP, 2 shots, and it's done. But the price of not having detection is essentially your entire army being annihilated. So many SCVs. Creator's reflex to shoot 4 stalker shots to kill an SCV. Very apparent here. But does not pay off, as those SCVs just have more HP. More factories on the way. Forgg going fully into mech. He's got +1 mech weapons in production. The Observer Stalker combo trying to clean things up. The Vultures, they have their speed upgrade and they're blazing away across the map. Looking for the third base of Creator, which he took up to the north. Single Stalker there. Gonna try to zone it out. I believe these StarCraft 2 races are just straight up what we have in multiplayer at the moment. So Spider Mines burrow. He's gonna have to deal with them. Buys a little bit of time to target down some more probes. And Forgg sitting on 59. It must be nice for Forgg to have his workers just mine automatically. Because in Brood War, essentially you break your wrist just telling your workers where they're supposed to mine. A bit more strategical here. I don't know where they got this siege tank model from, but it's definitely... you know exactly what the unit is. But it's somehow significantly different than the StarCraft 2 tank. I do kind of love it. And the mod and game mode are constantly being updated. Especially, it's picked up so much popularity so quickly. I saw the patch notes over just the last week or so before casting this. And by the way, shout out to Kiwion, the Korean Terran, you might know him, who was on a team with Forgg at some point, but for letting me know about this, because it's almost exclusive to Korea at the moment, and sending me some of the best games that he's seen. So, these ones recommended from Kiwion. And if you guys are interested, well, we'll try to get some more matchups, and there's going to be more matches soon on the professional level, as opposed to just the pickup game show match. Maybe there's some money on the line. I don't know about these ones. Either way, clearly both of them ready to fight it out. Forgg turtling up in that 3-base SC1 Terran. He's got an academy done. Is the academy or the engineering bay unlock the comm set? Science facility is complete. Starport, and he's walled off his own siege tank. Nailed it. All right, at least that's that carries over. No, that's a home defense tank, as you know. I think we're going to be spending a lot more time. We do, I believe, Jimmy. The next match is going to be featuring because we have a bit of downtime here, as Creator is taking more bases and Forgg is turtling up. The next map will be Mini, a former ASL champion Protoss, playing Protoss against StarCraft 2 Terran. I'm not sure which pro player it is, but it's a top tier SC2 Terran. So we're going to see the reverse of this match. Goliaths on the way. I believe that's Goliath Rage. There are now 3 siege tanks walled off in the main. Gotta be a little careful. A beautiful production line there. Unfortunately, the armories are kind of in the way. Vultures chasing down the Stalkers and doing quite a good job of it. More Stalkers joining up. I don't know if Vultures are armored units. The Stalkers having a pretty tough time against them. The Vultures just targeting the Stalkers. Don't even need the spider mines here. Not bothering with them. They all have charges. Wow, that damage. He does have +1 on the Vultures, but... a scan? Not sure how to see it. Into the main. Double Forge. 1-1 on the way. Creator is at 74 probes. He's got 3-4 bases. He's expanded to the north side. Not going to risk expanding too close to the Terran. You can't really blame him for that. 8 Vultures at a time. Now the traffic jam in the main is becoming concerning. What? There are now... Does he realize there are 5 siege tanks? I think he's trying to select them. He's got them hotkeyed somewhere. And, well, he clearly realizes. He decided to just take a pot shot at the armory. Remember, you can't lower your depots. Colossi working their way through the spider mines. A Zealot will find some of the SCVs transferring. The tanks are deciding which armory to take out in order to escape from their main base. The Vultures heading out. Colossi able to intercept some of them. Well, who's intercepting who? There's a Disruptor on the field as well. Vultures getting chased down. Stalkers blinking back, but the Vulture count is so damn high. Forgg is nearly maxed out. Disruptor shot fired, but the Vulture is easily able to evade it. Now, the Spider Mines don't have much HP. You gotta take some time to clear them out, though. More Colossi on the way. Vulture speeding across. Mines burrowing across the field. And those Zealots get too far ahead of themselves. The charge up, a Spider Mine hits a Colossus. But some of the tanks getting caught. Well, it's kind of unclear who's catching who. Disruptor shot smashes into a handful of Vultures and a Goliath. Vultures try to take out more. Recall goes north. Forgg has +2/+1. A scan forward. 4 siege tanks out in front. Target fire obliterates the Disruptor. And that's so... He's got 25 siege tanks. 2 supply is a hell of a thing. 27 Vultures. And that's it. That's the whole army. Meanwhile, the other army coming down from the north side. But the Spider Mine's almost in range. Gotta be so careful here. He's gonna burn through a lot of the mines. Is there enough to deal with this? The siege tanks are just laying into the Nexus. But a lot of the isolated tanks getting taken out. I'm not sure how overkill is handled, because that was, in Brood War, a big part of why siege tanks could be amazing, but also could easily be negated by a player who's paying attention. Well, not easily, but they could be. Creator cutting off reinforcements. A scan? Not sure what he's looking for there, but Spider Mines being taken out before they can trigger. Observers coming down. The Spider Mines are zoning things out. He's found another base. The tanks, unsieged, just bashing through. Creator cutting off reinforcements. There's not going to be a particularly easy way to deal with this army for Forgg. His entire army's on the other side of the map. The reinforcements are popping out. There's no high ground vision at the moment. The Immortals blasting apart the siege tanks on the high ground. The Observer's here to provide some support. And Creator still has enough economy at 63 probes to potentially regroup with Warp Gate. A tool that was not as accessible, or not accessible at all in the Brood War. The Stalkers, now with 2/2 upgrades. The Vulture is not trading particularly great with them. The tanks may have to come back to defend. Forgg actually down in supply here. Siege tank just blasting the Colossus, takes it out. Immortal turns around and takes out the siege tank. Down goes another Colossus, one survivor. Oh my god. Immortal taken apart. And the siege tanks head towards the main base. Vulture's looking to intercept. Oh, but the spider mines! He blinks out of the spider. Beautifully done. So that answers that question. Supplies are dead even here. But Forgg's army supply is massive. Creator still has the workers. So it's down to Creator picking the fights he needs. And there's still enough spider mines. Yeah, scanning forward. Creator's stuck on one base. I don't know if we have SC2 or Brood War minerals. I think it's SC2 minerals, aka having a little bit less at each expansion. Blinks past the mines. Another base will be taken out. Creator still mining. But the Vultures are fighting alongside the SCVs. The SCVs tanking so much damage. And, well, the Zealots getting involved as well. The Observer flies into a turret. Creator? It feels like he's bleeding out his army, but Forgg is almost... He lands a command center. Creator has desperately been mining. A handful of Stalkers on the high ground isn't going to be enough. Spider Mines take some more out, and Forgg may just have the momentum. And the ground army, not nearly enough to deal with this. The tanks will siege and obliterate the probes. Creator still has an army. There's just not enough. The siege tanks. Oh, he blunks on top. But Creator's supply plummets. And it looks like Forgg with his Vulture, just 1G, 2 more. 3 Gs, Forgg. Almost making it to the correct number. But in this first match, Forgg, with the classic siege tank Vulture composition, will be able to beat down Creator and his more fragile Warp Gate style units. In StarCraft 2, at least from my perspective, basic Protoss units are significantly weaker than they feel in the Brood War. Partially because of how units move and how hard it is in Brood War to concentrate enough units in the right place at the right time. But also because, and we didn't really see Creator use this at all, you can warp them in anywhere. So you can suddenly have 10, 12, 14 Zealots in your main. And you're like, well, Winter. Recall. Well, that's a bit of something different, though we may see it here in game number 2. Mini versus unnamed Barcode. We're going to name him Bark. All right? He might bark, but can he bite? Moving on. Game 2. And in this TVP, our Protoss player, I believe he has his name in Korean letters, which is why we got the question marks here. It's Mini. And then, all we know is he's a high Grandmaster Korean Terran player with the SC2 SCVs here on Daybreak. A lot of you may recognize this map, one of the most popular maps throughout Wings of Liberty in GSL. And I believe even into Heart of the Swarm. But not a Brood War map. Instead, one from early StarCraft 2. Can we just get his name on the screen? Alright. There we go. We've decided. So, wait, are Brood War probes? I believe they regenerate SC, it's not SC, shields while they're fighting. Like, they just passively regenerate shields slowly at all times instead of out of combat, like in StarCraft 2. Which makes them a little bit worse at kind of poking out and coming back to harass the SCVs. And a little bit better at, well, surviving early harassment. But at least these SCVs don't have a bunch of extra HP. I don't know if that probe's going to make it out. It's going to be a Reaper out of Bark. Meanwhile, Mini has a gateway, cyber core on the way, second Nexus. And the probe heading around. Oh, citizens arrest. SCVs take them down. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Dragoon on the way. I'm not sure if they come with Singularity Charge upgraded. The Dragoon range upgrade, which a critical part of early game TVP and Brood War, but I believe they start with it, just like the tank started with Siege mode in that previous match. Oh, Reaper comes in, and a grenade bounces the bounces the Dragoon, and will get away. The Dragoon serving much the same purpose of the Stalker in SC2, but as I was mentioning, has a bit more HP, I believe does a bit more damage, and costs about the same. Let me check here. It looks like we're starting with Wings of Liberty minerals. I'm not sure if that's true for all maps, but every patch has 1,800 minerals to start. And Legacy of the Void, the newest StarCraft 2 expansion, only 9 years old now. Unlike Brood War, which is only 26 years old now. In Legacy of the Void, half the mineral patches, usually the ones further away, have about half the minerals. And we start at 1,500 with the other patches, which means you're kind of forced to expand more quickly. It generally encourages more aggression than turtling, but that's something we kind of decided on as StarCraft 2 went on. But it looks like here, something a little bit less scarce, as all the mineral patches have 1,800 to start. We got Gravitic Drive. I believe, wait, okay. No. The Robotics Support Bay is upgrading. The icon looks... I don't know if there's a shuttle speed upgrade. I'm going to go ahead and assume there is. The Dragoon, trying to chase down the Reaver, but it's going to see the Robo Bay. And a Reaver drop will be the choice from Mini. A classic opener. Wow, actually the Dragoon really struggling against the Reaper. And, well, I believe that is the Singularity Charge upgrade. Jimmy? Gonna need the tooltips. I haven't used tooltips in many years. Yes. Alright, increases its range by 2, so it doesn't stop it. Good to know. And of course, the Warp Gate upgrade does not exist. So we'll be building out of gateways like the good old days, or Florencia. In comes a drop, but the Reaper's loaded up into the shuttle, fires off a Scarab, obliterates one Marine. They'll expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Another Scarab is being built up. The Dragoon trying to target the medevac, not going to be enough. Shuttle comes along, Scarab is launched out and blasts away a bunch more. There is no chrono boost, but into the natural, the Cyclones against the probes. Here comes the shuttle. Reaver throws out a shot. And, well, down goes the Cyclone, trying to chase down. Shuttle, badly bruised, not taken out. He's just going to build another shuttle. And Bark is gonna comment on how annoying those shuttles are and how Reavers are actually good. Korean is a dense language. Okay. Especially when you're making it up on the spot. Stargate on the way. The Dragoon. Medevac is pinned back. Another shuttle. That is a dangerous Reaver drop there. The shield's very slowly coming back. He just has one Reaver inside, 2 Zealots. 4 Cyclones. Interesting scan. Meanwhile, the Reaver at the back. Scarab. First shot, 3 SCVs. Another 8 SCVs in total, and the Zealots go to work. Cyclones are heading across the map. Another Zealot dropped out. Reaver targets more. The Cyclones at point-blank range, juggling the Reaver to try to break the lock. Does so successfully. 11 SCVs. Gets some more. Doesn't quite kill the Cyclone, but 16 SCVs dead, and the Zealot is still going. Meanwhile, another shuttle targeted. Dragoons chasing down the Cyclones. But the Cyclone's still pretty tanky when compared with the Dragoons. So overall, Bark down to 47 supply. Mini sitting at 71. quite a comfortable lead here to start. Observatory is completed, so that one should be pretty self-explanatory, even to SC2 players. Back in the day, we needed a fancy building for observers. 2 Reavers at a time, 2 Dragoons. Bark has 3 command centers done, now working on... he's going to be playing mech as well. So we get the full experience Corsair against a Raven, which does emotional damage to the Raven, and eventually the Raven may die out of boredom. That sound is way more dramatic than it deserves to be, considering it's doing like 2 damage a hit. Like, Bark over here has enough time to write out an entire eulogy for himself before the Raven dies. But he will get it! The flashlight will strobe enough, and down goes the Raven. The double Reaver drop loaded up. Double armory for Bark. Citadel of Adun, my Twilight Council equivalent, as well as a forge. Is that the first forge? Indeed it is. Bark just turtling up full mech Terran. Siege tanks, the more modern version, scattered throughout, turrets everywhere. Looks like he's just going to try to outlast Mini here. A laudable goal, though maybe an optimistic one. Third base is taken. The Dragoons struggling to deal with it. 5 probes down. Double armory. But Bark is sitting on only 4 gases here, which makes it very difficult to build consistently. Oh, the Reavers at the watchtower just laying into the siege tanks. He's now getting... I'm not sure if that's the Scarab damage or number upgrade, but the Scarab's already doing plenty. He actually snipes off one of the shuttles. So the saving grace there. Kills off both Reavers. And Bark now going to be able to expand to the center. Is that double shuttle? Double shuttle. He's going to have 3. I feel like 3 shuttles might be a bit excessive. Well, make that 4 shuttles. But a double Reaver shuttle with some Dragoons underneath. It looks like there is a bit of a delay on when the Reaver can fire after dropping out, which I think makes some sense, so that way you can't just, like, juggle the Scarabs in and out of it, but a cool little addition. It's a lot of little stuff like that to kind of even out the units. Now, I'm sure you can provide your own opinions as well after you like and subscribe. But it's super interesting, and a lot of the models are, like, straight out of the campaign, but some of them seem pretty unique. I don't know if they're pulled from, like, co-op or any other places, but honestly, it's the sounds for me. I've always felt like StarCraft 2 went a little too realistic. I didn't play Brood War. Alright, I'm not that old, sorry. But whenever I watch Brood War, what sticks out to me is how I don't have to watch to know what's going on. The sounds are so distinct. Like siege tanks sieging up, Zerglings and Zealots attacking. Maybe it was just like the technology wasn't there to have super realistic sounding effects, but it contributed to this just distinctive feel where you could close your eyes. And some players may argue that looking at Brood War nowadays on modern monitors is kind of like closing your eyes anyways. But you could close your eyes and still tell what's going on. Corsair leading the charge in order to draw some fire. Mass drop from the shuttles. And Mini is all over Bark's main. Here comes the Raven. Does he have interference matrix? Scrambles 2 of the Reavers. And the Cyclones are coming back to defend. He's still able to pick them up, which I'm not sure if that's an intentional interaction, but they're not able to do anything until that interference matrix runs its course. He still has the Scarab, though, able to launch. Turrets take out some of this. Down goes 16 SCVs, and now Mini has a near double supply lead. High Templar on the way, Psystorm in production. More Reavers, more Templar, more bases. Mini up 163 to 51 supply, and another set of Reavers. He just doesn't have the built-in anti. The Cyclone will knock out another one of the shuttles, cleaning up 5 shuttles and 5 Reavers so far. Blue Flame Hellions out. Another mass drop is loaded. I'm not actually sure the cost of a shuttle. Warp Prism in SC2 is 275 minerals. We've gone back and forth on like 250 to 300, but actually 200 to 275. But the double drop loaded up yet again. So far, Bark has been able to hold on, mostly because he has enough siege tanks to hold the front, and I think Mini is doing his best to avoid a direct confrontation. The sensor towers will give a little bit of advance warning. 1-1 is actually done for Barcode here. And Dragoon versus Cyclone. Vikings hit the deck. The Vikings are pretty good against the Dragoons as well. A bonus to Mechanical also applies to the Dragoons. Terran Amulet. Extra energy for those Templar as they pop out of the gateways. The upgrade that was removed in StarCraft 2 for the reasons we discussed about Warp Gate. Being able to warp in a storm on top of everything, you know, may have been a bit much. A scan. The sensor tower covers so much here for Barca. The Vikings patrolling mass shuttle. Well, the Vikings spot him. May be able to take out 1 or 2, but certainly not all. Some auto turrets drop down. Reaver is going to help out, but the shuttles will continue forward towards the natural. Mini starting to gut the economy yet again. And the Templar throws out a storm. Oh my. What a beautiful animation. Those Templar look hilarious though. What is going on there? Hey guys, I mean there's a battle going on, but I can't get over the High Templar. Ah! An Archon as well. Actually just blasting its way through that Archon. Quite a fearsome contender. Another command center. Not even going to be canceled. And Mini continues to compound his lead. He's got 4 going on 5 bases. He knocks Barcode back down to 3. +2/+2 now finished for the Terran. The StarCraft 2 Terran, that is. The Dragoons and a single High Templar, but I believe has enough energy for 2 storms with a cap of 250 energy. The Templar coming in. Storm does more damage, but over more time. And also looks way cooler, I gotta say. That kind of pixelated... Somehow, I don't know what they did with the animation, but I love that animation a lot. Carriers in production. The endgame unit for the last 26 years, and they're about to arrive. Just continued drops. Mini with 3K, 600 in the bank. Barcode struggling to put whatever he can on the field. He's constantly out of money, which, well, it would be weird if he wasn't, considering he's at 140 supply and desperately pumping out units. Essentially trying to play it like a Brood War Terran, turtling up and trying to build the death bomb, but Mini is breaking it apart effectively. And with the carriers, he may be able to play the... Okay, alright. I gotta say, putting all of these terms together is creating like almost an uncanny valley feeling. As I know my Brood War terms, for the most part. And I know my StarCraft 2 terms. But going back and forth and mixing and matching, while fun and exciting, is also taking a lot of concentration. So hopefully you're able to follow along. Or at the very least, you're loving watching Brood War, but with relatively modern graphics. Oh my god, those Templar. The Templar she tells you not to worry about. Look at those hands. My god. Not to backhand the Terran. More turrets to the front. I don't know if he spotted... Well, now he spotted the carriers. Ah, yes, the classic carriers. With only 4 interceptors? I believe interceptors are targetable. Ah, he's getting... Now, is that the interceptor capacity or launch speed upgrade? Carrier capacity, up to 8. What is it called? It's just called carrier capacity. You know, yeah. Has the graviton catapult icon that no longer exists in StarCraft 2, but did for many years. Thors up against carriers. Brood War carriers, which have a lot of different micro mechanics that I don't feel particularly qualified to explain. But suffice it to say, they are similar in purpose, but significantly different in execution to how carriers work in StarCraft 2. A lot more micro-intensive, though maybe a little bit less so because we are on the SC2 engine. The interceptors are launching. Can I select them? No. But the Thors and Vikings easily knock them out. There's just not enough of them right now. Here come the Templar. No ghosts out of Barcode. And that means no way to wipe out this energy. Something that would have usually been done, I believe, with science vessels in the Brood War. Well, Hellions heading north. A forward shield battery setup. That's a lot of Hellions heading north. Well, they're not going to be very helpful on the ground. The storms across almost everything. Whittle mines, though, blasting into the front line and getting some of the interceptors. Interference matrix locks down a couple carriers. And the Vikings, historically countered by storm, yes, but there's just not enough here in order to deal with it. Meanwhile, Hellbats into the north side, roasting a lot of the probes, and suddenly Mini is down 170 to 150 supply. He still has plenty of money in the bank, but unable to contend with this modern Terran mech army. As Barcode holds the line and does a lot of economic damage as well. More probes transferring, maybe not the time for it, he realizes at the last moment. +3 mech weapons about to complete. These Hellbats are just right-clicked on the Nexus. They're not gonna get it, right? One last Hellbat, he just goes for the probes. So close. Might just send a few more Hellions to deal with it. Of course, it's just a negative. Yeah, he realizes. Drilling claws on the way. For those Widow mines, more carriers in production for Mini. Thors and Widow mines up against carriers, Dragoons, and Templar. The Goon Squad coming together, but the Blue Flame Hellions, an existential threat to probes in any timeline. And immolating them at the third now. Down 6 more. Mini starting to drain that bank rather quickly. We do have Arbiters with Stasis in production. Something to directly deal with the ground army. But at the same time, Barcode, a fusion core, is being built. Could we actually see modern battle cruisers versus classic carriers? I don't know what else you'd build the fusion core for, so at the end of the day, as Mini tries to lock things down. But the modern battlecruiser, no energy bar, tactical jump. There's really, either in 1998 or 2024, no particularly direct counter to them. Mass turrets, the turrets per minute in the main, skyrocketing, like the turrets themselves. There's 26 of them on the field, over 1 turret per minute on average. And then some, considering, obviously many of them have died. 17 turrets have died so far. Yamato cannon is on the way. Turn from a gun to a cannon in StarCraft 2. Carriers intercepted. Interceptors not launched. Interference matrix going to lock down one of the carriers and help knock him out. And I have no idea what upgrade that is. Recall for Arbiters. Ah, yes, the fateful recall. A more aggressive move in the Brood War than in SC2, where it's defensive to your own Nexi. Thor battlecruiser up against mass carrier. +2 air weapons and armor completed for Mini. Thors are indeed here. The battlecruisers, well, he hasn't built any battlecruisers because Barcode is now maxed out. The Widow mines, are there any observers? Widow mines and Thors just blasting through. Some storms helping out a lot here on the front line as the interceptors, well, they also melted the storm. And the banks starting to go in favor of the Terran. Vikings looking for an opportunity. +3 mech weapons and +3 mech armor. Only +1 ship weapons at the moment. Trying to target down the Raven. Not going to be enough. Brood Wars on the way. Brood Wars? What did I even mean to say? Battle cruisers, are you kidding me? I said... I'm like, what could I have possibly meant by that? I get why I said it. It's rattling around up there, but 3 battle cruisers in production. Mass shuttle carrier drop. The battle cruisers are not going to be operational quite in time. And Templar have now invaded the Terran main. The shuttles are going to regroup. Anti-armor missile, though, softening up more carriers. Down goes another one, just a single Viking involved. The main base carving through the turrets. Anti-armor missile helping out. Battle cruiser is operational. Yamato cannon online, and he fires the first one. Not enough to take it out, but enough to soften it up for the Vikings to finish off. Yes, he knocks it out of the sky. The Zealots are still going to work in the main. 7 carriers down thus far. The Thors will clean this up alongside the cruiser. Just an observer in the bottom right, but Barcode resecuring his position. A potential recall into the main. What a crazy, the reverse vortex animation. Arbiter comes in. Down goes a battle cruiser. Storm's washing over the rest. But siege tanks, incredible storm wiping out about a dozen Vikings. I take it back. It was about 7 Vikings. The rest are badly bruised. But 5 battle cruisers in production. As many... He said, well, his supply is looking pretty mini right now. 150 to 192. +3 on the way, but the base is, well, not really mining out. He's only got 52 probes, though. Barcode has survived. And with Thor's Widow Mines turrets, these siege tanks out in front. The battle cruiser could tactical jump. If there's no reinforcements, there's no reason not to. Battle cruisers have their own little arbiter inside in order to recall wherever they want on the map on a cooldown. Without research or energy. Pretty great. That's what happened after the Brood War. The Terrans hired the arbiters to work for them. Quite a brain drain from the Protoss. Uh-oh. Oh, this Templar. SCV, do you stop? Stop it! Stop right there! The SCVs get away. Battle cruisers in the main. Cloaking field. Oh, stasis! Stasis works. Huh. Wait, can you attack units in stasis? I don't believe so. Has to scan in order to keep that detection. Mini down to 165. So, wow, stasis lasts like 3 years. Oh, this is awkward. Well. Huh. Thor's bashing through the cannons. You can't, I mean, you got a plan for next week or something when you drop a stasis on someone. How many battle cruisers on the field? 8 battle cruisers. Everything's coming back just in case he decides to try to save his friends. Looks like he's gonna take out the battle cruisers and then head for a recall in the top right base. Down go the battle cruisers. He recalls, tactical jump away with the battle cruisers, recalls into the bottom right. The Terran army is moving. Does he have enough energy for another recall? Not quite. The battle cruisers are on station. And a stasis catches 4 out of 6 of them. Big moves there. Yamato cannon, not quite enough to take out the Arbiter. Battle cruisers overhead. Another, whoa, those storms are actually chewing into the cruisers. That extra damage. I believe it's something like 120 or 140 compared to 80 in StarCraft 2, which makes a real impact. Also, that animation has an emotional impact, I will say. Ooh, very dead Archon. But here we are. Both sides near 200 supply, but Mini has a much more technical army now. Oh, he's able to stasis a few units. Storms on the back line, though the stasis protects some of them. Where are the battlecruisers? They jump into the fray. There are more battlecruisers that just came out of stasis. More storms. Thor's blasting. Mini trying to fight this heads up. The Thors in high impact mode don't have the splash damage to take out the interceptors. The high impact mode prioritizes high value targets like the carriers themselves. But more battlecruisers strafing. Yamato cannon takes out the Nexus. And, well, the carriers are heading north, but it's looking more and more desperate for the Protoss here. Jumps away. As Barcode has adapted to the situation, using essentially an advanced Brood War style of mech in order to work his way forward against Mini's Protoss. And I think at this point, ill-equipped. It's like he was launching his interceptors to try to have them all out. But the Widow Mines, can be used to devastating effect. The interceptor count plummets. He only lost like 8 or 10 of them, but he is launching his interceptors at his own base. Wait, I'm not actually sure what the purpose... Oh, he's keeping them kind of like stuck on his carriers. Like I said, I know there's some crazy micro tricks you can do. I don't know if they work in this version of the game here on StarCraft 2. Certainly these carriers are working differently than your StarCraft 2 counterparts, I will say that. It's definitely a different feel to the unit, but still a similar purpose. That Arbiter, the key point here. More turrets on the way. The Thors and battlecruisers. We're waiting for the battlecruisers to be involved. He's not. Oh, he recalls in with some of the Templar. Another Arbiter, looking for maybe a stasis here. A volley of Yamato cannons. Can't jump away if you get stasis. And this creates quite a base trade scenario. Meanwhile, though, Mini is essentially out of money. The scans will confirm it. And maybe he spent a little bit too much time playing with his food. And now, it seems like it may have gotten away from him. The army supply is about even here. But how do you fight this Thor Widowmine battlecruiser? Well, if you can isolate the individual battlecruisers and potentially take them out. Mini, some SCV micro in and out of the planetary fortress. Battlecruisers are back online. Loses a High Templar in the main. Another battlecruiser goes down. Mini running away with the probes. 17 SCVs die. But what's left? The battlecruisers jump on top of the carriers. The interceptors are all launched, but Yamato cannon should be online for the vast majority. There's just so many turrets. The battlecruisers are chasing things down. There's nowhere to run. And the fleet... It looks like too much. GG. He taps it out. And Barcode will take this, well, this particular round. So, I know this is many of these players, some of their first games on this mod. I'm not exactly sure all the changes to balance and stuff like that, but I gotta say, I am so impressed. It truly feels like we've added Brood War to StarCraft 2. But obviously some allowances have to be made, like that 12 worker start and all that. But I believe you can play it right here, right now. If you simply have StarCraft 2 downloaded. I know, that's the hardest part. And then you check out SC Evo either as a standalone map or an extension mod to the map. And that should allow you to pick whichever flavor and whichever race, classic or otherwise, that you'd like to. So, hopefully you found this interesting. Hopefully this made your day a little bit better and you look forward to more. I'm going to be looking out for some... Well, if this gets enough interest, we'll be looking for some Terran versus Zerg, I think. Or Protoss versus Zerg as well. But let me know what matchup you'd like to see next, if you'd like to see one. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. If you haven't, like and subscribe. It'd be awesome if you do so. If you got the means of motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon, YouTube membership, all of that. But otherwise, thank you for watching. Check out SC Evo in-game. I believe they have a Discord as well. And keep a lookout for some more of those matches. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.